I'm Shaylina. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we have another special guest. We're going to be talking about Gestalt language processing in kids with speech delays. It is becoming very popular as a topic as more and more kids are diagnosed as a Gestalt language processor. Please welcome a speech pathologist, Marija Perez.
Hi, my name is Marija Perez, and I'm a speech language pathologist in California working primarily with autistic students. Today, I will share some information on Gestalt language processing and echolalia and how is that related with autism. So there are two ways children learn or process language. We're all familiar with the analytic language processing when children produce their first words and then phrases, sentences, and they're able to self-generate language. However, there is another way that children learn language, and this is called Gestalt language processing. 80% of the autistic children, they process language this way. So what is Gestalt language processing? Gestalt language processing is when children start producing phrases instead of single words. Gestalt language processing has 6 stages of language development. The first stage is delayed echolalia. So these phrases that the children start producing, we call them gestalts or scripts. So this is when children hear something on TV shows, on their favorite TV shows, or from other people, and then they memorize it and repeat it and use it. So this have some kind of meaning for our autistic children. And we need to do a detective work to find out what that meaning is. So that's the first stage of Gestalt language processing. Also, these phrases or delayed echolalia, they're non-literal, as I mentioned earlier. So, for example, if a child says, I have a student that says, line up every time when he hears the bell, and that means it's time to go. So, and why I know this is because I know the student and the teacher use that phrase every time when it's time to go outside, to recess, or when it's time to go home. Another example is I have another student that likes the Brown Bear book. So every time when he wants us to read the book, he would say, yellow duck, what do you see? And that means that he wants us to read the book. So these phrases, echolalic phrases, are not literal. And we have to do some work to find out what they mean. Also, they're non-flexible. So the child repeats the phrase the same way as he heard it before on TV or from other people. So they don't understand at this stage that they can take one word from the phrase and use it in another context or combine words and phrases together to formulate a sentence. These phrases are also produced with rich intonation, so they produce them the same way as they heard them from their favorite TV characters or from other people. The second stage is called mitigation. So this is when kids take part of one gestalt or one phrase and another piece of another gestalt and phrase that they have in their language repertoire, and they mix and match them to formulate a new novel sentence. So for example, if the child already produces, let's get red, and then he also says, I want some more, that can become, let's get some more. So he takes the first word from one phrase, and then he takes the last part from another phrase to formulate a new novel sentence. The third stage is the magical stage. So this is where the magic happens. This is the single word stage. This is actually the first stage with our analytic language processors when they produce their first words? Well, our Gestalt language processors, they go through 2 other stages before they come to the single word stage. So why did I say that it's a magical stage? It's because kids learn at this stage that the words are literal. So for example, book means book, and they learn that these words can be changed. They can be combined with other words. So they are not stuck gestalts. They're flexible. Here, kids use 1 word or 2 word utterances. And these words can be nouns, nouns plus nouns, and nouns plus adjectives. So for example, ball, red ball, book, table, for example, 2 nouns. The 4th through 6th stage there, here we see the grammar. So in the 4th stage, we hear grammatical errors. So this is beginning grammar. And we don't want to correct the grammar. So we want to see those grammatical errors because they're the biggest indicator that the child's language is his own, it's original. Because in the previous stages, all of the sentences are grammatically correct. So they're produced as they've been heard before somewhere. Okay, so stages 5 to 6 are intermediate and advanced grammar. Here, starting from stage 3 till stage 6, the treatment approach is the same approach that we use with our analytic language processors. But before, from stage 1 to stage 2, the treatment approach will be completely different. So what we do with our Gestalt language processors is they need more phrases, more Gestalt at the beginning. So our analytic language processors, they need more words. That's the difference. Whereas our Gestalt language processors, they need more phrases. So what we do with them is we do a lot of child-led, play-based therapy, where we include our students' interests in the treatment, and we model easily mitigable gestalts. So these are gestalts that start with let's, it's, I'm, that's. And the reason why we use that kind of phrases or gestalts is because these are very easy to combine. So for example, with let's, I can say, let's go, let's get, let's jump. With it's, I can say, it's red, it's exciting, it's fun, or it's time for bed. So the purpose of therapy with our Gestalt language processors is to model as many easily mitigable gestalts as possible so they can later mix and match them to produce their own original sentences and eventually get to self-generated language.